Understanding the roles in Valorant is the easiest way to understand your own agent. There are 24 agents in the game at this moment. Out of those 24, we will talk about 6. Let's take a look at every single initiator, and I am going to give you a great tip for each. First agent is the owner of the Odin. Towa has a really powerful ability kit with an insane amount of utility. The dart, being able to reveal players' locations, makes him a walking wallhack. If used properly, he's one of the best agents in the initiator role. His ultimate is very versatile since it's great for post-plant, deny the plant, or even just to get some juicy frags. Average runners showed the world how much potential there is in the shock darts, but this time we will talk about the drone. I see many people droning before they enter the site. On paper, there is nothing wrong with that. The issue comes when they actually see an enemy. This is where they are about to make a bad decision. They tag the player, and as soon as that happens, they cancel the ability and pull out their gun to capitalize on the information and potentially get a first blood. Many players don't even think about this, but with this play, they actually deny themselves an extreme amount of info. On top of this, it's not even your job to create the space for the team. The duelist has to follow the drone and get even more value out of it. You are only setting them up for success. After tagging someone, you can still keep on flying and try to find another person to tag or simply reveal. Gaining so much space can be the difference between winning or losing a round. The next agent is quite a funny one for me. Why, you may ask? It's hilarious because many people said that I look like him. I don't agree with this, but one thing I am sure of is that the Swedish redhead is a one-man army. Having so much utility on his hands, he can dictate the rhythm of games very comfortably. It's not too complicated to understand that his stun is mind-blowingly strong if used well. But as I saw, a lot of players waste the potential of that ability. They just stun towards people they see, hoping for some kind of result. Many times it's just an ability that is burnt really quickly, so they don't have to think too much about it in that round. The trick here to get the best out of his stun is relatively simple. The range of the ability is quite impressive, but without proper minimap reading, it becomes useless. When using this stun, try to always have your eyes glued to the minimap so you can get more info about the position of the enemy players. As an example, on S and A side, I always just watch the minimap, and as soon as someone takes contact, I can stun for them and create an easy 1v1. Here I have to point out that even if the communication isn't great with your teammates, you can still perform. If you have a jet with no mic, you can still try to read their plays and have them maximize their potential. Without checking the minimap, this wouldn't be possible, and your teammate would die in that 50-50. The Nature Girl is the next one who I am going to talk about. Sky has seen better days, we have to admit. After the nerfs, her pick rate dropped dramatically, but she's still playable on some of the maps. Her group heal is quite good, since the game still doesn't have many healer agents, and the ultimate gives you a ton of info as well. Her dog can clear close angles and is a perfect ability to secure a place on the map. But what I want to focus on today are her flashes. The flashes can be very nice to set up some traps for the enemy where they have nowhere to hide. If you play Sky, try to always play around open spaces or long narrow entrances where the enemy is unprotected. It's very easy to catch them off guard with a pop flash and capitalize on it. There are many places you can use the bird in an efficient way, like Bind B long, Sunset B main, Heaven C long, and many more. Try to visualize where the enemies might be during a push, and where they might be the most exposed to a potential flash. You can make sure to get the best out of this ability by having a person with you who can swing right after the flash, creating a way better scenario where it's incredibly difficult not to come out on top. As soon as you get the hang of it, you will be dominating these lobbies. If you play with the talking toaster of Valorant, here is a lovely tip for you. His KO has flashes that are actually broken. He can make things happen. His ultimate is basically a free entry to almost any site, while he can still get a second chance at life. Sentinels hate him, understandably, but what I want to focus on is his signature ability. The silence is very unique. At the time of making this video, he is the only agent who can disarm your Cypher setup with a simple knife. But how do you maximize the use of his silence? If you look at the knife and its landing, you can see that it actually creates a ball shape. That's the visible range of the silence. Depending on what situation we are in, we need to understand this ball effect. Just think about it. A ball has the longest diameter right in the middle, so it covers more space when it's actually thrown closer to the ground than when it's thrown up on the wall. Obviously this varies based on what we want to clear with the knife. If there are a lot of elevations, like on Icebox, you might need to consider throwing the knife higher on the wall. While there are a lot of corners, like combined A short, going for a low landing one is probably your best option to gain the most amount of info possible. This aspect of the ability isn't talked about enough, but now you have the edge over your opponents. The next agent we are going to give tip for is from Turkey. Fade is a utility heavy initiator with a huge amount of value she can offer. The ultimate that defense people or the prowlers that can clear dangerous corners are both really useful. Her seize is also perfect combined with other abilities like the Raise Nade or a Brimstone ultimate. But what we are going to talk about today is her E ability. The reveal itself is great to spot players' exact location, giving you valuable information. When you want to use it in the middle of the round and you want it to land on top of something like a wall on Ascent mid link, it can be quite difficult to make it happen. It might fly over or you activate it too early. The trick here is that if you are moving forward while throwing it, it will travel faster in the air. If you are moving backwards, it will be slower, so getting the timing to land on top of the wall will be easier. This trick can definitely make your utility usage way smoother and more efficient. The upcoming agent is someone with an extravagant hair color. Gecko is a unique character with the ability to plant the spike from further away than usual. The Flash also has some special mechanics that are somewhat refreshing for the game. His molly can be combined with a Sage Slow to secure some frags, or you can even play post plant with it. It's amazing. Now I want to focus on his ultimate ability. Many people just go for the ultimate, and as soon as they see someone, they press the left click and hope they catch the opponent. But what most of the player base doesn't know is that Thresh actually goes by itself. You don't have to press W. As soon as you pop him, he will start going forward. So you can focus on movement and just indicate the direction with your mouse. Knowing this, we can just bunny hop around while it goes by itself, making it much harder to shoot. On top of this, you can also detonate it faster if you double click instead of the usual single click. The next time you want to use Thresh, start it, bunny hop as much as you can to make it almost impossible to destroy, then double click towards the player you want to catch. Now you are on your way to become a crazy good initiator, but if you want to be goated at Sentinels also, you should check out this video.